So just for my recording, hello everybody and welcome to our Thermomix TM7 cooking experience. My name is Chelsea McGill, Thermomix consultant and team leader. So a huge thank you to everybody who has come along to join us tonight. Now, we love when you interact with us. It makes me really happy when I'm not just talking to myself for the whole cooking experience. So I would love if you could ask as many questions as you like, interact with me as much as possible. But I do ask if you could just please stay on mute tonight. When you come off mute, it does create quite a bit of background noise. And so I'd love if you could just stay on mute, but if you could just use our chat box below. So I'm just going to pop a little hello into the chat box for you. And if you could pop a little hello into the chat box for me and let me know whereabouts you're zooming in from tonight. And if you currently have a Thermomix, what model do you have? I just realized I don't even have a lid on my Thermomix. Let me get that. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. So, hi, Caitlin. Down from Pakenham. Lovely. Elena from Sydney. Fabulous. Awesome. We'll keep those comments coming in tonight. And as I said, please ask as many questions as you like. The more questions that you ask, the more you're going to get out of this as well. I'm just going to mute that one because that dinging is very loud. All right, so a little bit about our TM7. So we're going to talk, some of you may already have a Thermomix, some of you may not have a Thermomix. So do just bear with me for those of you that don't have a Thermomix when we talk about the comparisons between the older model and the TM7, but it is still really great for you to hear some of the differences that our new model can do that our old model can't. Just checking that everybody's on mute. There we go. All right. So here we have our beautiful TM7. Now, obviously the first thing that you're going to notice is the way that it looks. It is quite different to our older model Thermomixes. Firstly, it's black. So if you've watched me cook with the TM7 before, you may have heard me say this, but Vorwerk did some extensive research, market research, when it came to designing the newest Thermomix. And 50% of people wanted a black Thermomix. 25% wanted white and 25% wanted multicolored, which is really interesting. So we have gone with what the people want, and that is black. So it is really beautiful. I do have a black kitchen, so that works very well for me. But it actually looks really stunning in a white kitchen as well, which is really cool. You can see that we've got that beautiful big screen. So you've got that 10-inch screen. So it is the size of an iPad, and it just is so user-friendly. If you have a TM6, you might know that it can be a little bit of a struggle to get those get the screen to react to your finger. It's something to do with the angle. So the angle of the new screen is so much more responsive, and it just makes life so much easier. It is faster. The processing in it is quicker, so it's quicker to search for things. Your connection is quicker, all of those things, but it is also quicker when it comes to heating, blending, blitzing, all of those amazing things that we love about our Thermomix as well, which is very, very cool. We'll keep talking about some of the differences throughout the night when we're doing different bits and pieces. And again, if you have any questions at any time, please just pop them in the chat box. I will try to answer them for you. Otherwise, one of the girls in my team will answer them for you. So if I miss it, I do apologise. When we have a look at our screen, the other thing that you may notice is that there's no tactile dial anymore. So that felt really, really bizarre to me, having a Thermomix. As a long-time Thermomix user, having a Thermomix without a dial felt really, really odd, but actually get used to it really, really quickly. Just a reminder to please stay on mute for me, guys. Thank you. Not having the dial felt really bizarre, but it's actually something I've gotten used to really, really quickly. And you're going to see when we're cooking tonight just how simple it is without that dial. So when we're looking at our home screen, we no longer have that manual mode up first. Now, we absolutely still have a manual mode. So I was asked by somebody today, can you still cook manually in it? They expected me to say no. So yes, you can absolutely still cook manually in our TM7. You have your time, temperature, speed, and away you go. Hit that play button. You've also got your scales there. So you can absolutely still access that manual mode and still do your things manually as well. When we head on into our modes, we've got some of our favourite modes from our older model Thermomixes and a couple of new ones as well. First up is that manual mode, which you see there. Then we have our self-clean. Now, our TM6 does have the self-clean mode as well, but I do love the visuals on our TM7. So just beautiful, quick, universal dough, browning, fat and caramel based off what you've cooked is going to help you choose which clean mode you want. Throw in up to a litre of water, dot of dishwashing liquid or some white vinegar, let her clean itself, and away you go. We've got our dough mode for all of your kneading. We've got our browning. So our TM6 owners will have used our high heat mode before. If you've got a TM31 or a TM5, you wouldn't have used the browning or the high heat mode, as that was something that was added into our TM6. With the TM6, you could only access the high heat or browning mode guided cooking, which means you had to follow a recipe. With the TM7, it is available in manual mode there, which I love. I'm finding myself heading on into my browning mode quite often. You're going to get to see it in action tonight, so I won't talk too much about it now, but I'm loving being able to flick over to my manual browning and do some onions, do some veggies, or just adding it into my basic recipes to add a little bit more flavour. We now have a steaming mode as well. So obviously we've always been able to steam in our Thermomixes, but now we have a mode which just makes it so simple. You set your time, it sets your temperature for you, and then you let it know, are you using your Varoma, are you using your simmering basket, or are you using both Varoma and simmering basket? And then it's going to kick it up a notch, ready to go for you. We've got our turbo, our blender, our egg boiler. Again, those beautiful visuals. How do you like your eggs? Pop them in with some water, soft, medium, medium hard, or hard, and walk away. For anyone that has a TM6, are you using the egg boiler mode at the moment? Pop in the chat and let us know. Then we go down, we have our open cooking, which is another new one. So as a long-time Thermomix owner, it does feel really bizarre to be able to cook with the lid off in the TM7. When they first announced that mode, I was like, why would I ever want to cook with the lid off? But I actually find myself using it quite often. I do poached eggs quite often in it for the most perfect poached eggs. I am using it to cook pastas and things like that as well. So it's definitely been used more than what I thought it would be. The great thing about the open cooking is it's totally safe because the blades don't spin. So when you're in open cooking, the blades are not moving, so you don't need to worry about that as a safety feature. You're just doing a gentle simmer like you would on the pan on your cooktop. But the best thing is it's on a timer, so it will turn itself off, so you don't have to worry about anything burning. Much cleaner as well. We've got our kettle, our warm-up, and our rice cooker. We've got our thicken, slow cook fermentation sous vide, and our peeler. If you have a TM5 or a TM6 and you have the peeler, the blade cover peeler, that is still compatible with the TM7, so you can use the same one. The grater, slicer, and spiralizer is a different cutter attachment to the older model one. So just because of the way the Thermomix TM7 has no arms and the lid locks, there is a new cutter available as a host reward at the moment for the TM7. But otherwise, your other accessories are compatible. So your bowls aren't, but your other bits and pieces absolutely are. So some of our great modes there that we're going to talk more about as we are cooking tonight. Something that I really like about the TM7 is that you can customize your home screen. So mine is set onto my planned recipes because I'm a big meal planner, love seeing exactly what I'm cooking today, but you can have it set to inspiration. So it will always change every day, new recipe ideas for you there on the screen of your Thermomix. And then there is another one, which is your mode screen. So you can have that as your home screen, whatever you'd prefer. Mine does say enjoy you sexy thing on it as well. So you can get your Thermomix to compliment yourself just in the settings there if you want it to say something nice to you. Caitlin said lid off is a game changer for flavour enhancement. I couldn't agree more. I actually did a virtual demo last night for some customers and we did the coconut chicken curry and that does the last 3 minutes with the lid off and it was just so much thicker and creamier than what I'm used to in the TM6, which was really, really impressive as well. So I definitely agree, Caitlin. You're letting a lot more of that steam out and just building that flavour profile and thickness, which is really cool. So if you have any questions about any of the modes, please just pop it in the chat so I can answer them for you. But we are going to just quickly, actually, I'm not going to go into that one. I am just going to talk about the price of our TM7 and then we're going to get into cooking. So our TM7 is 2649 and we do have lots of different payment options to help you get a Thermomix on your bench if that is what you would like to do. So we have currently 36-month interest-free finance, which brings the cost of a brand new TM7 to around $19 a week. So less than $20 a week to get a Thermomix on your bench, 36 months interest-free through Zip. You can pay that off earlier if you like and there's no early exit fees, which is a win. We also have 24-month interest-free with Hum. We have Zip Pay, Afterpay, and Pay Before, which are a great way to pay it off in kind of those 8-week installments. We have a 3-month option with Hum, and then, of course, we have our one-off payment as well. You can also join our team and earn yourself a Thermomix, which is a really fun way to do it too. But what I'm loving at the moment is our trade up. So we do have our TM7 trade up, our first ever trade up, which has just been so popular. We did have a slight extension on that one, and that one is coming to an end soon. So if you are thinking about trading up an older model Thermomix, now is the time to do it. You will save, if you have a TM31, you will save $250 off the cost of your TM7. If you have a TM5, you will save $450 off the cost of your TM7. And if you have a TM6, you will save $750 off the cost. So our TM6 trade ups come down to just $18.99. And if you do the 36 months interest free, that's about $14 a week, which is amazing. So if you have any questions about trade up or purchasing a Thermomix, please reach out to your consultant, pop it in the chat. We can help you. If you don't have a consultant, I will send a follow-up email after the class. So please just respond and we can help you out as well. But we are going to move on into our cooking. So we're going to bring up our recipe today. And we're going to start off by making some Greek pita bread. So as I said, I've got my weekly planner there ready to go. So bringing up my Greek pitas, you can see here we're using Cookie Dough, our recipe platform, which we'll talk more about in a little bit, which has over 100,000 recipes from all around the world to keep us going with endless new inspiration. So for those of you that currently have a Thermomix, please pop in the comments and let me know, do you use Cookie Dough? Do you love it? What do you love most about it? All right, so on our guided cooking through Cookie Dough, we've got prep time, total time, and portions. You've got your ingredients here. Scroll your finger down the screen. You've got your steps, any hints and tips, and then your notes. So on the TM7, you can add notes onto your recipes. If you're anything like me and you like to make changes to bits and pieces, you can pop your little notes in here reminding you of what changes you like to make. So then when you open your recipe, it will let you know that you've got a note on it. You can open up your note and be like, oh, yeah, I like to double the garlic in that. I like to reduce the water, whatever it may be, which is really handy. And then down here, you've got all of your nutritional value as well. So if you're someone that likes to know your nutritional value of your recipes, they are all here as well. So we're going to hit that start cooking button and we're going to move straight into it. Got some great comments about Cookie Dough here. Do I have a favorite sweet recipe on Cookie Dough? I've just purchased a TM7. That is a very easy one to answer, Nicole, and that is the sticky date pudding. If you haven't made sticky date pudding, add it to your list. It is absolutely delicious. I always say to people, if you buy a Thermomix and only ever make sticky date pudding, it will be the best $2,500 you've ever spent, hands down. Caitlin loves getting ideas for what's in the freezer or fridge with Cookie Dough. Love it. Elise uses it all the time, loves different meals I wouldn't normally make, and they always come out perfect. Awesome. And Caitlin backs me up and says, I'd buy a thermo just for sticky date. Thank you so much, Anna, for popping some recipes into the comments for us there. So we've got our built-in scales over here. Now, our TM7 has what we call our digital twin. So this is letting us know what's happening in our Thermomix at the moment. You can see as we start to weigh, it is showing you that that weight is going up, and then that's going to let you know when you need to put your lid on, your aroma on, etc. So keep your eye on our digital twin there. So we're going to go in with 270 grams of water. Watching those scales count up. 270. I mean, it's very cool about the TM7. Once you hit that number, it will mark it off for you, give you a little ding and a tick, and it will tear your scales ready for your next ingredient, which is awesome. Leaving you hands free to just keep doing what you're doing. Go in with a teaspoon of dried yeast. Top tip, I said this the other day and a few people were shocked. This is the yeast that I use. You may use this one at home as well, the Lowens. You do buy this in the pantry aisle at the supermarket, but please, once it's opened, it does need to go into the fridge. If you keep it in your pantry, your yeast will not work. I did let people know that at a demo a few weeks ago, and I had a customer send me a photo. She had hers in her pantry. She made a loaf of bread with it, which did not rise, bought a fresh one, kept it in the fridge, made a loaf of bread, which was perfect. So if you've got this in the pantry, throw it out, buy a new one, keep it in the fridge. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you heard that sneeze. It was the loudest sneeze in the world. So our yeast is in, and then we're going in with a teaspoon of sugar. And then digital twin is asking us to pop our lid on over there. Put that one on. And our guided cooking has 2 minutes on 37 degrees, speed 1. And we just literally need to hit that flavour. So no more turning that dial. Just hitting that play and away you go. So while we're waiting for this one, what we're doing here is we are warming our yeast. So yeast should be at 37 degrees to work to its optimal, optimal something. Lost my train of thought now. To work the best, I'm just going to say, to work the best, it should be at 37 degrees. Once it gets to 37 degrees, it's going to give you a faster proving time and lighter, fluffier bread. So if you ever find a recipe that doesn't ask you to warm your water, use cold tap water, and just 2 minutes on 37 degrees is going to do that. Optimal activation temp. Thank you, Anna. It is late and I've had a really busy week, so please excuse my lack of English skills. Thank you, Anna. Optimal activation temp is what I was looking for. So our Thermomix is getting our yeast to our perfect temperature. So tell me, guys, what brought you along to our cooking experience tonight? While we wait that last minute, pop in the chat and let me know what got you interested in coming along tonight. Are you here to see the TM7? You're here to learn a little bit more? Have you got an older model you're just wanting to see have some inspo? Pop it in the comments and let us know what brought you along tonight. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about bread as we go through our recipe. Excuse me, crashing around. Just need a few more lights on. There we go. All right. Oh, Sophie purchased a TM7 today. Congratulations, Sophie. Very happy for you. Here for a bit of inspo. It's good. Do love the sounds the TM7 makes. I find myself dancing around to it quite a bit. So lid off. We have just warmed that yeast water, and that sugar, what that sugar does is it feeds your yeast. So it's not there to sweeten your dough. It is there to feed your yeast, which again is going to give you the best rise. So we're going in with 500 grams of plain flour. Again, our scales, watching our digital twin count up there. A bit low tonight. 500 is quite a lot. Oh, come on. There we go. So TM7 is going to mark that off for us. Give us a little ding, tear our scales, and then a teaspoon of olive oil. Now, when we're not weighing, when we're measuring, we do need to mark it off ourselves. Then we're going in with a teaspoon of sea salt, which is about yay. And then just that next button. And then we're going to move into 3 minutes of kneading. Lid on and just hitting that play button. 3 minutes and knead. Something that you might have picked up on, I have my microphone on, so I hope you can hear, but I know it can be a little bit difficult on Zoom. Something that you might notice is just how quiet our TM7 is. So our motor is virtually silent up to speed 2 or speed 2 and below. It is virtually silent, and everything above that is much quieter as well. So it is very interesting, if you have owned a Thermomix for quite some time, just how quiet it is. So I do find myself spending a lot of time going, is it on? Is it on? Because it is just so silent. We do have the double insulated bowl. So you have your stainless steel bowl insert inside, and then you have your insulated casing on the outside. Now, the insulated casing is there to reduce the noise as well. But as I said, that motor is actually silent, speed 2 or below. When we get to those higher speeds, there is still some noise, of course. I was doing a demo the other week and a customer said, oh, so I wouldn't have to warn my kids when I'm going to do Parmesan cheese or almonds. And I said, oh, no, look, we still probably need a Parmesan cheese and an almond warning. Flicking hard cheese or almonds around a stainless steel bowl at full speed using all the incredible power of our Thermomix is always going to be loud. It is definitely quieter in this model though, but it's still not quite silent. But everything else that you were doing is so much quieter. It is really crazy. Something else that's really great about the insulated bowl, I am also a hairdresser and I have really weak wrists after years of repetitive strain. So I know when your Thermomix bowl is full, it can be quite heavy. Lifting it up, it is ergonomically designed, but for me, I would be a little bit heavy. With the older model Thermomixes, you've got the stainless steel bowl. You can't grab the bowl because it can be quite hot. With our TM7 and an insulated cover, it does not get hot. So when it is heavy, you can very safely pick it up with two hands and not worry about burning yourself, which is awesome. If you are someone that likes to cook with kids, that is another great thing as well. You no longer have to worry about that outer casing getting hot. While we're talking about the bowl, I will just very quickly show you something else that we are all loving. So on the side here, you may have noticed this silver lever. Give it a pull across, and that is how we release our blades. So our blades now come out like this, and our bowl insert comes out of our insulated casing. So there's no more of that awkward twisting and turning, trying to get that base apart. Very simple. Don't put this one in the dishwasher. I find it doesn't really get dirty. I just give it a rinse. It would also take up too much room. This one can absolutely go through the dishwasher, as can your blades. Don't be afraid. Then to put it back together, we're literally just lining it up. Yep, I made that look much harder than it is. Blades in. And then just flick your lever back into place and we are back together. So that one is just much simpler and another great upgrade in our TM7. Oh, what else have we shared? Sorry, can you also make these people life-changing? Oh, profiteroles. I've never made them without a Thermomix. Delicious. So in 3 minutes, we have kneaded that dough down beautifully. Look at that. Now, 2 minutes of kneading in the Thermomix is the equivalent of 20 minutes of kneading by hand. So you are saving an absolute lifetime of kneading when you are doing it in the Thermomix. The dough is beautiful and warm, soft and ready to go. Now we have some videos here. So turn out onto a lightly floured silicone bread mat or work surface. You can hit the play button and our TM7 shows us all the video. So it's just giving you some instruction, twisting your blades back and forward to help you release that dough. Now, something else, a little glow up in our TM7, tip upside down, grab your beautiful new TM7 spatula. You have this little hole at the bottom, which is designed to sit over the blades, back and forward until that loosens. And there we go, we've got our dough out. Now that has pretty much come out perfectly. But I do want to show you one of my favorite tips for whatever model Thermomix you have. So when we are working with dough or anything at all, so say you've got some sauce, you've got some cake mix on and around the blades, and you don't want to waste it, hit the house button, go back into your modes, pop your lid on and go into your turbo mode. Turbo, we've got 1 second, hit that play button. Now, turbo is our fast, hard chopping. Swipe down from the top of the screen and that's going to return you back to your recipe. Now, there wasn't much stuck on my blades, but what that one is going to do is just flick anything on those blades off. So whether you've got dough, if you've got cake mix, sauces, whatever I said, that's going to flick that off and not waste any for you. Grab a little bit of your dough there and just work your way around the bowl, cleaning it up. No waste there. And then I get asked all the time my favorite Thermomix accessory, and it would definitely be my Thermomix mat. So your Thermomix mat is a silicone mat that is used for shaping, proving, rolling, all of those great things. You've got measurements on it up the side, up both sides, so you can roll out to size. You've also got your circular measurements in the middle for like your pies and stuff like that. So roll that one into a bit of a ball, and then we're literally just going to wrap that and pop it to the side to keep warm. Now, our Thermomix mat is going to help to keep the warmth in there, which means it's going to prove quicker and easier again. Now, TM7 also has a built-in glider foot, so you can glide it around your bench with ease. You don't need to worry about damaging the scales. It is designed to be lifted, which is really great. So walking through the rest of our recipe, from form, I'm reading upside down here. Form dough into a ball and then wrap in a silicone bread mat or place on a well-oiled bowl and cover. Leave dough to prove in a warm place until doubled in size, which is approximately 40 minutes. Place dough on a lightly floured silicone bread mat or work surface and roll into a log. Divide into 8 equal pieces, approximately 100 grams each. Roll out each piece into a thin circle, approximately 15 centimeters. Cover with a tea towel and set aside until slightly risen, which is going to take approximately 30 minutes. So here's some I prepared earlier to help with this one. Now, I love this pita recipe, but there is a little bit of time in this one. You can see how easy it is to make, but we do have a little bit of that proving time. So I want to make sure that you guys get to see just how great these pitas are. So I did make these ones about 45 minutes ago. They have been proving away nicely. Now, I did just make a half batch because I'm going to have pitas coming out my ears, which is not a bad thing because they are delicious. But when we're working with a silicone bread mat, never use a knife on it. Your spatula is your perfect cutting tool. So this one, we're just going to make 4. The recipe does make 8, and I do have a half batch here. So I'm going to cut them into 4. Then I'm going to use the circles on my bread mat. What centimeters did it tell me? Approximately 15 centimeters. So we're going to give it a little push down. If your dough's sticky, you might need a little bit of flour, but generally I find you shouldn't need much. And then we're just going to go to about that 16 centimeter mark. Getting things round is not my strong suit. It's just not something that I'm very good at. But we're going for homemade. So that is fine. And then I'm just going to pop them onto a tray with a liner because that's nice and easy. Has anybody made the Greek pitas before? Put in the comments and let us know. If you haven't, if you do currently have a Thermomix and you haven't made pitas, what is your favorite kind of dough to make? What's the dough that you are making? And if you don't yet have a Thermomix, is there some kind of dough that you like to make? Could you see yourself making dough if you have a Thermomix on your bench? Pop it in the chat and let us know. I think that one's less round than my last one, but that's okay. Give those last 2 a roll. It's pretty warm in my house tonight, so these are going to prove nice and quickly. If it's cold in your house, you might want to think about where you could put these that are going to be a little bit warmer, near a heating vent, near a fireplace. I know people that use like the dash of their car. Actually, I'm going to leave that one. No, I'm going to move that. Sorry. Sorry, guys, I'm crashing around. Should have had that out ready to go. So you don't want to roll them too thin. Hitters should be thick-ish. So finding that happy medium. But if you've got your measurements and you're working to about that 16 centimeter line, they're going to be a really nice thickness. As we give them this second proof, they're going to get a nice, get a bit airier, nice and fluffy. All right. So then we just want to cover them. So I'm going to cover them with my Thermomix mat. Just really like that and just pull it tightly and over like so. You can use a tea towel to do this as well. Whatever you've got is going to be great. And I might just drape that over here. Okay. So just checking the comments, some form of sourdough. I made cinnamon scrolls with sourdough starter and was obsessed. A sourdough causes my blood sugar to spike less. Love that, Nicole. If I don't use the circles on my bread mat as a guide, they will never be round. I get that. Cinnamon scrolls, Anna's favorite thing to make. Sally likes to make the tortillas. Yes, the flour tortillas are so beautiful. Jessie's making pizza dough. Awesome. Love that. Keep those comments coming in for us. And then at the end, you're going to place a frying pan over a medium to high heat with just a little bit of oil. Working with one pita at a time, place into frying pan and cook using a spatula, gently pushing down bubbles until dark brown specks start to form, approximately 2 minutes each side. Place on a serving plate, cover to keep warm. You can also use a thermosaver and then serve warm as desired. So we will finish those pita off in a little bit. I'll give them a little bit more time to prove. I'm going to give my bowl a very, very quick wash and we'll keep on going. My biggest worry about getting a TM7 was going back to one bowl. So I, as a TM6 owner, I had 3 bowls. So I was always chopping and changing with my bowls. And I was really unsure how I was going to cope being stuck with just one bowl with the TM7. I can confirm that I have survived. I haven't died, and it's not been anywhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I am finding the pre-clean mode. So you do have pre-clean on the TM6, but I didn't really use it a lot because I found it very loud. And the sound used to do my head in. I am an overstimulated mum for most of my day. So I found it very, very loud and I struggled to use it. But it is much quieter in the TM7. So I do find myself using the pre-clean mode. And that fast mode does just take 2 minutes. So run a pre-clean, rinse your bowl dry, and away you go. And it definitely hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. Also, cleaning the TM7 is so much simpler because you don't have those arms anymore. Scrubbing those TM6 arms can be a bit of a nightmare. So having no arms, it is much easier. You literally just give it a wipe down and you're done. So back into our weekly planner, and we're going into our chicken gyros with tzatziki. So this one is prep time 20 minutes, total time 30 minutes, and 4 portions. You can scale your recipes. So a lot of cookie dough recipes are pre-scaled, ready to go for you. They've got a serving of 2, 4, or 6. So if you are a small household, you can go down to 2, or you can up this one to 6 if you would prefer. I'm just going to leave it on the 4 that it is suggesting. But we can hit that start button. And we are going to start cooking. So we're going to place your spice mix ingredients into a sealed container. So we are going to I'm just going to pop a bowl onto my lid. And we are going to go in with some spices. Now we're going with 2 teaspoons of ground paprika. Now I'm using a half a teaspoon because my whole teaspoon doesn't fit into my jars. I'm doing 4 instead of 2. 3 teaspoons of ground cumin. Has anybody made this recipe before? Put in the comments and let us know if you have. Then we've got 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I've got some garlic granules, but that is fine. Garlic. 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. I'm just going to give it about a tablespoon. And a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now, making your own spice mixes is a much cheaper way to do it. Also, you'll find that it's a much healthier way. A lot of companies add lots of extra bits and pieces, preservatives, MSG, all of those things into your packet spice mixes, even things as simple as a taco mix. So it is much more cost effective to be able to whip up these spice mixes like this. Meat rubs. Has anyone made a meat rub in their Thermomix before? It's great for the meat lover in the household. Meat rubs are so expensive. You can pay about $30 for a jar of a meat rub, and it'll cost you just a couple of dollars to make in your thermo, doing all your grinding and your mixing for you. So there we have our gyros spice mix. Oh, a teaspoon of sea salt. Missed that one. Didn't think it was weird there was no salt in there. Here we go. Let's go again. Mix them around and away you go. All right, stir to combine and then set aside. So next up, we are going to make some fresh tzatziki. While we're talking about great ways to save money, making homemade dips, another one. So if you're making any dips in your Thermomix, pop it in the comments and let us know. So we're going to go with 1 garlic clove. Now, if you've ever seen me cook before, you may have heard me say that I always double the garlic in cookie dough recipes. Now, I have punked myself in the past. Raw garlic is much stronger than cooked garlic. So when I'm using raw, I do not double the garlic. So I am just doing 1 garlic clove in and next. And then we're just going to chop that one 5 seconds on speed 7. So are you making fresh dips in your Thermomix? Pop it in the chat and let us know. If you don't yet have a Thermomix, would you like to be making fresh dips? What is your favorite flavor dip that you're buying at the moment? Pop in that chat and let us know. So we have minced up that garlic perfectly in just a couple of seconds. Always thinking about the time that my Thermomix saves me, being able to do things like that chopping in a matter of seconds. So it wants 100 grams of Lebanese cucumber de-seeded. So when we're de-seeding a cucumber, we're literally just cutting it in half and then using a spoon to scoop out those seeds. Nice and easy. There. There we go, about 100 grams. And he's going to ding. Next. Now, again, we're going to chop. We've got 5 seconds on speed 6. Caitlin is making meat rubs, half chicken, half lamb, backstrap, delicious. I make and use all-purpose rub and use it on steamed chickens. Love that, Callie. What else have we got? Zingy, avo, and lime dip on cookie dough is my favorite. Delicious. Capsicum, sun-dried tomato, and cashew dip is divine. That is also my favorite, Emily. Love that. So 5 seconds and we've chopped that cucumber perfectly. So just have a think, how long would that take you to dice that by hand? I'm not a very fast chopper, so that would take me a couple of minutes, honestly, and we've done it in just 5 seconds. So if saving time is important to you, that is a brilliant way to save time by doing all of your prep work in your thermo. So we're going in with 250 grams of Greek yogurt. Now, I am lactose intolerant, so I'm just using the Greek-style lactose-free yogurt. You can use whatever kind of plain yogurt works for you. If you're dairy-free, you could use like a coconut yogurt, soy yogurt, anything like that, as long as it's not flavored. I want to make sure it's a natural yogurt. Listen out for our little ding. 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. And then 1/2 teaspoon of dried dill. And that is how easy it is to make a fresh tzatziki. So we are going to go 10 seconds on speed 3, and we just hit that play button. I reckon I'm going to need a bigger jar than mine. Yeah. Bowl, dip container, whatever you call it. Transfer into a bowl and set aside. And how good does that look? I wish you could smell on Zoom. That tzatziki smells absolutely delicious. And how quick and easy was that? If you haven't made tzatziki before, is that something you'd like to make now? Or if you are planning, if you're thinking about getting a Thermomix, do you think making tzatziki is something that you would like to do? Put in the chat and let us. There we have about 400 grams of fresh tzatziki made in a couple of seconds. No preservatives, no additives, lactose-free, and absolutely delicious. I'm going to pop that one in the fridge. Give my bowl a super quick rinse. I will keep moving on. Right. Oh, there's been a conversation about coriander in the chat. It's always such a fun topic. Let us know in the chat, are you a coriander yes or a coriander no? I'm a big no for coriander, not a fan. Okay, clean and dry our mixing bowl, and then we're going to place a bowl onto the mixing bowl lid. Just going to grab a big one. And we are going to weigh into it 500 grams of chicken breast. Here's some I prepared earlier, which I have cut into strips roughly. It is saying 5 millimeters by 6 centimeters. So just strips. Into the bowl. And I've got about 600 grams. I'm a little bit over, but that is totally fine. And then we're going to put in 30 grams of our Gyros spice mix. Oh, it wants me to take my lid off. There we go. Try that one again. 30 grams of our spice mix, which is all of it. And hit that next button. And then we're going to go in with 40 grams of olive oil. Now, this one is to help marinate it. I do sometimes find cookie dough recipes have a little bit more oil than what I'm comfortable with. So we do need a bit to do a marinating, but we are going to add a little bit more while we're cooking as well. So I'm just going to reduce that down a little bit. So just that reminder that it is guided cooking. It is not set in stone. So you can make changes to suit you and your family. Your Thermomix is not going to beep at you, not going to tell you that you've done the wrong thing. It is very happy for you to make those changes. Give it a stir. I'm pretty happy with, I did about 25 grams. It's definitely enough to spread that spice mix and give me a really good coating, but it's not too oily there. Stir to combine. And then we're going to pop some onion and some olive oil. So as I said, a little bit more olive oil going in. So I've just got some onion just sliced up really roughly there, and it wants about 60 grams. And then 20 grams of olive oil. And again, I'm just going to do about 15 because that's what I'm kind of comfortable with. And then we're just going to pop our lid on. We're going to start sauteing our onions or warming our onions and our garlic. We've got 2 minutes on 120 degrees on speed 1, and just hit that play button. And that one is going to saute away there. While that one is doing its, I'm just going to talk about our Thermomix accessories. So for those of you that don't currently have a Thermomix, that $2,649 is an all-inclusive price, and you do get all of those extra bits and pieces that you need to get you going on your Thermomix journey. So first up, we have our Varoma, which is our steaming attachment. Now, the Varoma is one of my favorite parts of the Thermomix. I do meet a lot of people that don't utilize it as much as they should, but for me and my family, it is something that we absolutely love. We love being able to do our layered cooking. You can fit so much in it and just walk away. You've got a whole meal cooked by the time you get back, which is great. Our TM7 Varoma is 45% bigger, which takes it to over a 6-litre capacity, which is amazing. So when you add that with your 2.7-litre bowl, you can absolutely feed a crowd. So this one here is our Varoma dish. Then we have our Varoma tray and our lid. So that one is included with our TM7 purchase. Here we have our simmering basket. So your simmering basket pairs up with your Varoma. It sits inside your Thermomix bowl. And say you might have like your rice or your potatoes in here. You've got water in the bowl, and then you might have like your meat and veggies cooking in your Varoma. So you'd be cooking rice, meat, and veggies. And then at the end, you can use that water to reduce down into a sauce. And you've got a beautiful, fresh, steamed, healthy meal made in minutes without any standing at the stove, stirring, worrying about boiling over or anything like that. So your simmering basket and your Varoma are included. You do also get your butterfly whisk. So your butterfly whisk is for all the yummy bits and pieces. So think anything that is delicious, chocolate mousses, Meringues and pavs, especially coming into Christmas. Your Thermomix makes the best meringues and pavs, sponge cakes, whipping cream, making butter, all of those great things. If you've currently got a Thermomix, what do you use your butterfly for? Pop in the comments and let us know. And if you don't have a Thermomix, think about all those beautiful things you could be doing, especially coming up to Christmas and the silly season, all those wonderful things you could be whipping up and impressing the family with. So we're taking our lid off. Now, as I said, we've just warmed those onions for now. And what we're doing is adding in 250 grams of our reserved chicken. But I've got a little bit over, so I'm going to go 300 grams. So as I said, I had about 600. When we're using the high heat mode, it is important not to overload it because you want to get that heat transfer from the bottom of the bowl, and you're not going to get that if you, put 800 grams of meat in it in one go. So we've got 6 minutes on our timer, 160 degrees intense, and those three little heat symbols there are letting us know that we're going into that high heat or that browning mode. So all we need to do is press that play button and let it do its thing. Now, if you have a TM6, you may have used the high heat mode before. You will have remembered having to put your splash guard onto it. Now, our TM7 has a redesigned lid, which means it does not need a splash guard. It has a built-in splash guard here underneath that hole in the mixing bowl lid. So you no longer need a splash guard, which is great. So you can just pop your lid on and it is totally safe. You're not going to get splashed there. So 6 minutes, 160 degrees. So our TM6 and TM7 goes 40 degrees hotter than the older model Thermomixes. And that is something that they added in after a lot of feedback around, we couldn't get browning, we can't get caramelization, we can't get that flavor building into our meals with the Thermomix. So with the high heat mode or the browning mode, you are able to do so much more. So think about anything that you're doing on the fry pan at the moment you could do with that high heat mode. Something like this, when you're doing that kind of stir fry, those meats, those pan cooked meats, you can absolutely do that in your TM7 using that browning mode. You can do things like caramelized onions, caramelized capsicums. We do a lot of those for pizzas, stir fries, meat and veggies. You can do like your taco minces, your fajitas, things like that, seared steak salads. The options really are endless. So you're getting a better flavor profile because of that extra heat. It's really hard to get you guys to listen to this because the TM7 is so quiet. But with the high heat or the browning mode, what it does is the blades spin, stirring it all, and then they stop. When the blades stop spinning, that's when that meat or veggies is able to get that heat transfer from the bottom of the bowl, and it is able to do that browning, that caramelizing, that extra flavor. Then it will start stirring again before burning, and repeat that process over that 6 minute period. So picture yourself standing at the stove, having to stand there and stir. You can't really walk away or else it'll burn. I know you've all done that before. So now in your Thermomix, you can use that high heat mode, let it cook, walk away, go and do something with the kids, put the washing away, clean up around you, or maybe you just want to sit on the couch and drink a glass of wine, and that's absolutely fine too. Whatever it is that you would like to be doing instead of standing and stirring is what you can do in your Thermomix, and especially in this new high heat or browning mode. So for those of you that have a TM7 or a TM6, have you used your high heat mode, and what is your favorite thing about it? And for those of you that don't yet have a Thermomix, I'd love you to take a minute and think about those things that you are cooking on the stove at the moment that you could be cooking in your Thermomix if you had one. When it came to the butterfly whisk, Elise said mashed potato. Yes, it does make a great mashed potato. Em's making trifle. Love it. Already started. Callie, mashed potato, whipped cream, fruity dream, pav. Awesome. And Elise says less stove mess. So that is something that I love about it. No spitting, splashing around, dirtying your stove. That's for sure. So what you can do is when you're on your screen, you can scroll your finger down and you can continue reading your recipe. So you're getting a bit of a preview about what's coming next. If you're anything like me and you're a little bit time poor, you might like to kind of prep your ingredients as you're going rather than prepping all before you get started. So I like to do that. So I would like to spend this time kind of prepping my next ingredients, getting ready to go. We've come towards the end of the recipe, so there's not much prep left to do. This is a very quick, easy recipe. So next up, we're going to transfer into a thermal serving bowl or other bowl and cover to keep warm. place our remaining spiced chicken with an extra 20 grams of oil, and we're going to do another 6 minutes of browning. You're going to add back in your cooked chicken, mix it all together, and then serve pita with chicken gyros, fresh dill, drizzle with tzatziki, and roll up to eat. Delicious. So when you are, you can hit the button at the top and that's going to take you back. If you need to repeat a step for some reason, so sometimes you might finish cooking, chopping, doing something, and you might think, I'm just not quite happy with that. That's totally fine. You can go back, hit your 3 dots and set as current step, and that's just going to repeat that step there for you. Back to current step. And while that is going, we're going to check on our pitas. Now, these ones have risen there nicely. So we haven't given it that full 30 minutes, obviously, but our demo is going to be nice and short tonight. So I am happy with that little bit of rise that I've gotten there. And what we can do is we can give those ones a little cook now. So I'm just going to grab my fry pan out. Grab my fry pan out. When you are making pitas, wraps, things like that, my top tip is to have 2 fry pans going if possible, because it is going to make, it will reduce your time by half. My light went flat on me. I got this great new light, but it goes flat all the time and doesn't work on charge, which is wild. So if you've got 2 fry pans, it's going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to reduce the time that you are spending standing there at the stove doing your stirring. Making things like pitas and tortillas is so simple, but there is just a little bit of time involved from that standing and stirring them, turning them, you're not stirring them. So having 2 fry pans, being able to do it simultaneously is going to save you a lot of time. Right. So there we have our perfectly cooked gyros meat. Absolutely smells amazing, and best of all, cooked with ease. Not winning with my light situation now. So we are going to put them into your thermoserver. So we can repeat that next step. Now, if you don't yet have a thermoserver is going to keep your food at the temperature it goes in at for up to 3 hours. We'll talk more about this thermoserver in a moment because it has had a bit of a glow up. So pop your lid on. That is going to stay warm. Now, when you use that high heat mode, it is really normal to see some browning at the bottom of the bowl. Do not panic. That is normal. It is a stainless steel bowl. It is not Teflon. So it is going to stick. So don't worry about that. It's going to give you that browning, which actually adds more flavour. So it is really normal and actually delicious, and something that we're not mad about. The self-clean, it has a self-clean on it that does the browning mode. Use a little bit of bicarb and vinegar, and that will get rid of it perfectly. If not, just a really light scourer will do the trick as well. All right, so a little bit of olive oil again, and then we've got 6 minutes on 160 degrees again. Lid on and push that play button. Just going to bring you guys over to my pan. Sorry about the spinning around. Hope I'm not making you seasick. Just so you can see there, we're on a nice medium heat. Now, I find that when you're making pitas, tortillas, things like that, it can be quite similar to making pancakes. Now, your first one may not be perfect. That is absolutely okay. Don't stress too much about that. Your next ones after that will be great. So we're just going to let that bubble up for a minute. You can see we're starting to get some rise happening in our pita. It's set about 2 minutes each side, but you're going to go based off your eye. You want to get some bubbles in there, and it did say that you want to kind of flatten down any bubbles that happen. So when you're making flour tortillas, I love when we get the nice big bubbles, but in our pitas, we kind of don't want too many bubbles. We just want to get a nice all over rise. When we get that nice rise, that means we're going to be able to cut that pita in half, add like a pita pocket and fill it if that's what we want to do. They're so airy when I push down my bubble, another one appears. Look at that. So that has risen. I hope you can see the rising happening there. Flip it over. Got some nice browning on that side. So if you have a look, that was our thickness when it went in. We're going to compare that one to our thickness after cooking. So we've got that really nice rise. Let that one go for a sec. Now, for those of you that invited along some guests tonight, you will be entitled to one of our host rewards. Please chat to your consultant, the person that invited you along tonight, and we can help organise that one. It needs a little bit longer still. But we do have our thermoservers, as I mentioned. So our thermoserver has had a glow up recently. We're just going to move back over here. Apologies again for moving you around. Our wonderful thermoserver has had a glow up. And your thermoserver is your Thermomix's best friend. Just trying to. So our new thermoserver has been redesigned. So this is the old thermoserver lid. Our new thermoserver lid is also insulated. Our old thermoservers kept your food at the temperature it went in at for up to 2 hours. Our new thermoservers keep it insulated and warm for up to 3 hours, which is amazing. So it does also have a little strap on it, which you can pop on and you can travel with your full thermoserver. So especially at this time of year, moving into Christmas, the silly season, you can prepare something before you go and you can pop that strap on and it's not going to leak on you in the car. They are also now stackable, which is awesome as well. So if you didn't invite anybody along tonight, that is totally fine, but chat to your consultant or when I send you an email out afterwards, please reply and we can help you host your own cooking experience and get yourself a thermoserver free or cheap. These can't be purchased. They are a host reward only. The other host reward that we have at the moment is our TM5, 6 and 7 cutter spiralizer attachment, which is available as a host reward too. So if you'd like to get your hands on one of those, please have a chat to us. We would love to help you. So that is staying nice and warm in our thermoserver. Going to check on our pita. Looks great. So that is the difference between the old style thermoserver and that new one. My pita's got some beautiful brown spots on it there, so that is good. And I'm going to keep that in my thermoserver with the lid just cracked a little bit to stay warm, which is going to keep it nice and soft as well. So we're going to pop that one to the side while we've got that other pita cooking. As I said, running 2 fry pans is going to save you quite a lot of time there as well. Now we have about another minute left on that one. So we might have a little chat about cookie dough. So I did ask you earlier who is using cookie dough and who is loving it. So there are quite a few of you that were loving cookie dough, which is what I like to hear. So I'm just going to share my screen with you for a moment, just so for those of you that aren't yet using cookie dough, we can help you to get a bit of an idea about how amazing it is. Cookie dough is one of my favorite things about my Thermomix. It saves me time, it saves me money, and it helps me to eat a wide variety of different dishes. So Cookie Dough is our recipe platform that has over 100,000 recipes from all around the world. So that is literally a lifetime of inspiration there. Now, when you are using Cookie Dough, it has a For You page. Now, Cookie Dough is like Netflix. It will get smarter and smarter the more that you use it, and it will be able to start recommending things that it thinks you may like based off what you've previously cooked. So you can see here when I scroll down, there's lots of beautiful different dishes. Here is our trending now. So this trending now will change every couple of days based on what people all around Australia are making in their Thermomix. So a great place to come for a little bit of inspo. Then we've got everyday recipes, hand-picked for you, low-fat living, and low sugar savvy. I'm not sure if I should be insulted that it's giving me low sugar and low fat at the same time, but that's okay. So pop in the comments and let me know, are you somebody that likes to meal plan? Are you a meal planner or are you more a wing it kind of person? There's no right or wrong answer. Just let us know what you like to do. Then when we head on over to our Explore page, there are lots of different ways to use Cookie Doo. So Cookie Doo is on the screen of your Thermomix. It is a website on your computer and also an app on your phone. So you use the one login and that is going to sync up to your 3 different devices. Other people in your home can have the same Cookie Doo subscription logged on as well. So you can have partner, children, anyone else living in the house on the Cookie Doo as well, and you can all be choosing your meals, making your shopping lists, etc. When you come to your search page, if you click on your popular categories, just know these are Australian recipes only, which means you will be reduced to about 3,000 instead of about 13,000. So they're still great to use, but you do have a slight reduction. So I would love if someone could pop in the chat and let me know, what is your favourite thing in the world to eat? So what is your favourite thing? What do you love to eat? It might be something that you buy, something you get takeaway at a pub, at a restaurant, something that you make. Pop in the comments and let us know. Nicole's asked, is it all in English or can you translate? So 100,000 recipes from all around the world aren't in English. We have about 13,000 English language recipes and the rest are in other languages. So I have mine filtered down to show just English language, but you can change those filters to suit you if you do speak another language, or you can use Google Translate to translate for you as well. Oh, there you go. Caitlin uses ChatGPT for some Italian recipes. Love that. So Anna has suggested a curry. Wonderful suggestion. Thank you, Anna. Curry is a great option there. So when we have a look at curries, we can start off with things like our paste, our tandoori paste, tikka paste, garam masala, those basic things to get your beautiful curry started. And then you have so many different options here. So we have, what have we got? 643 things resulting to curry, which is amazing. So if you want to save yourself a bit of money on takeaway, you can make some beautiful takeaway in your Thermomix. What are we going to choose? Keep scrolling down until something tickles your fancy. Okay, there's so many different beautiful options. So let's go with our Sri Lankan red beef curry. Open up our recipe. This one's got 4.8 stars out of 333 ratings, so you know it's going to be a good one. Then we can add it into our week and say I'm going to have that tomorrow. And then we were talking about our sticky date pudding before. So let's have a little search for our sticky date. So we've got a couple of different recipes relating to sticky date. This one here is my favourite. 1,500 people agree and have given it a 4.9 stars. So you know it's going to be a good one. You can up your portion size to 18 for this as well. And it can be made in all model Thermomixes. So we can add that to our week as well. Now, when we head on into, I'm just going to clear my old shopping list. When we head on into our weekly planner, you can see here we have our dishes that we've made tonight, our gyros and our Greek pita. Tomorrow night, I've Greek stuffed chicken, and then we've got a Philadelphia chorizo and chive gnocchi. But here is our red beef curry, so we can add to shopping list. Here is our sticky date, add to shopping list. So I'm somebody who likes to do a full week of meal plan and then create my shopping list based around that. You might be somebody who likes to do a couple of days at a time. That's totally fine, whatever works for you. So then head on into your shopping list, mark off anything that you've already got. So I know I've already got a lot of the basics in my pantry. As a long-term Thermomix owner, I do have most of the basics there. So I've got my bicarb soda. I might need brown sugar and dates. I've got raw sugar. Obviously don't need to buy water. So just go through and mark off anything that you don't have in your pantry. You've probably got all your herbs and spices. Mark off everything that you do have and just leave off those things that you don't have. Then you've got your shopping list ready to go. If you like to go to the supermarket, grab your phone. That is all down on your phone in the app, aisle by aisle. So you can head to the supermarket and browse your aisles, grab your bits and pieces that you need. If you are somebody like me that is a little bit time poor and prefers to do your online shopping, you can absolutely do that, and you can hit the order ingredients button. This one takes us over to our third-party whisk who connects Woolies with Cookie Doo. It is currently only Woolworths that whisk is partnered with, but it is worth becoming a Woolies shopper if you're not currently. So go through and you can make any changes. So say brown sugar, I just want to switch to home brand brown sugar because that's a little bit cheaper. I just hit that swap button. So go down and make any changes. Buying 12 eggs is more cost effective than buying 6. So I can go down, always buy free range. We don't buy caged eggs, and switch that out. I do get asked a lot if Cookie Do, if Whisk choose the most expensive brands. They definitely don't. I'm pretty sure it's based off your size. So as I said, if we need 2 eggs, it gave me 6. That may not be the most cost-effective way to do it, but it's what it thinks is best for you because that's what you needed. So just go through and make any changes. Then when you're happy, hit the Add to Woolies cart, and that will populate your cart ready to go. Then you just add in your extra bits and pieces, your milk, your bread, whatever it is that you are needing for that week, and then you can have it delivered to your house or do your click and collect, whatever works for you. So again, Cookie Do is your Thermomix's best friend. It is there to save you time. It is there to save you money. It is there to help you eat more creatively, healthier, deal with diet, allergy, whatever it is that you are doing at home. And it will just make your life all round easier. Just checking out a couple of questions there. Anna put another beautiful butter chicken in the chat. Great recipe sharing there. Thank you. Caitlin loves the creamy Cambodian fish curry. Was the best I've ever made. Leanne's asked if you can do trade-in on finance. Yes, you absolutely can. So the 36 months interest-free brings it down to under $15 a week if you trade in your TM6, Leanne, which is amazing. All right, so we just have our last steps to go and then we're going to plate up. So we finished cooking that other portion of our chicken, and then what we're going to do, I clicked skip by mistake, set as current step. So we are going to add back in our cooked chicken, that chicken and onions that we cooked in our first step. One in. And then we've got 3 seconds on speed 2 and we're using our reverse. So that back side of our Thermomix blades are blunt and they are for stirring instead of chopping. And it does say prolong by up to 2 seconds if necessary. So you can click that green tick and then repeat, and that is just going to repeat that whole step for you again. Next. So we have combined our Gyros chicken there. That looks absolutely beautiful. And again, I wish that you could smell that one. So we're going to serve with our pita, our fresh pita, with some fresh dill, drizzle of tzatziki, and roll up the meat. So you can do whatever you like with these pitas, whether you want to cut it in half, if you just want to kind of fold it like that. I like to cut these ones, and you can either make a pita pocket, or you could turn it into a thinner wrap. I find because they are quite thick, but if you just go, because they're so light and airy, it's quite hot. So just trying not to burn myself while doing so. To cut it in half first. I would have made my life a bit easier. Then cut it down this way. Fold it open, and then I've got a pita pocket. These Greek pitas are so versatile. You can do so many different things with it. So you've got your pita pocket there. So I've got some toppings that I prepared earlier. Some lettuce and tomato. Now, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat while I do this. And just a little reminder while we are plating up that we do have 36 months interest-free, bringing your TM7 to less than $20 a week. And if you would like to trade in an older model Thermomix, that will bring it down to around $15 a week, which is amazing. 2649 for that TM7. You do get all of those great accessories, and of course, you get us as your consultants as well. If you have any questions, please reach out to your consultant. If you don't have a consultant, I am going to send an email out shortly with some more info and the recording from tonight. So please reply, and I would love to help you find the perfect consultant to get a Thermomix or a new Thermomix on your bench. Our tzatziki. And again, a big thank you to anybody who invited some guests along tonight. Please make sure you chat to the person who invited you about your host reward, or if you would like to host your own cooking experience, please let us know, and we would love to arrange that too. But there we have our chicken gyros with our fresh pitas, homemade Greek pitas, and that tzatziki. How does that look, everybody? For those of you that already have a Thermomix, you're going to be adding that to your meal plan. For those of you that don't yet have a Thermomix, is that something that you would like to make if you did? They smell absolutely divine. So that is it for us for our TM7 cooking experience tonight. A big thank you to everybody that joined us. A massive thank you to my team for inviting you all along and helping out in our chat box. If you have any questions at all, please reach out, or as I said, please respond when I send out that email in a little bit. It may end up in your junk folder. You will not regret getting a TM7 on your bench. I promise it will become your new best friend. And our Christmas delivery is running through to the 8th of December. But if you are wanting to do the trade up, please make sure we get that sorted soon, because we want to get your old Thermomix into the post so we can get your new one to you in time for Christmas silly season. So again, I am Chelsea McGill, Thermomix consultant and team leader. Very happy to be here tonight, and thank you so much for coming along. And we will see you all very soon. Good night, everybody.